Hello guys, I am back from another video, and today we talk about what Deku had a Digimon. So in the last video, Deku, after Izuku woke up, apparently they were told by Izawa that they're going to be having a sports festival soon. So, after a few weeks of training, the sports festival has arrived and they started doing the events. Until the cavalry battle, where they were told that the sports festival was cancelled because, well, a big emergency. So Izuku was told to go to the principal's office, where Izuku saw All Might. Izuku was given a file. As when Izuku opened it, apparently Izuku, All Might, and Inko Midoriya were actually related. That means Izuku finally found his real parents. So yeah, so let's talk about what happens next. So, when Izuku realized that, Izuku says this, "Why did you abandon me then?" As Inko basically says this, "Uh, I'm sorry, but I, when I first, gave birth, I wasn't ready. I mean, I wasn't ready to basically, be a parent." Izuku says, "Liar. I just saw you basically laugh and left me to die until my adopted father, Beelzemon, took care of me, unlike you." As she says, "I'm sorry, please, just forgive me. And also as Izuku says, you're not my parents. I'll be leaving." So, Rose and Elizabeth also witnessed this as they start leaving with Izuku. Specifically, well, Elizabeth said this to, well, Inko and Toshinori. She says this, it's it's all your fault, though. If you weren't such, well, how do I say it, assholes, you you weren't, well, you could have made Izuku, happy to see you, but instead you just left him and even laughed at him when he's about to die in the cold darkness of the night in the forest. I'll be leaving. So, she left as well, as Inko basically in shock, and she fell down to the floor as she starts crying. Toshinori comforted, Inko, as when she was crying, she saw her daughter being, well being her daughter Izumi. Izumi says, "So, mother, so is it true that boy Izuku is actually my brother?" As she says, "Yes, but he still feels hatred for us." As she says, "Huh, hmm. I'll try and find a way to make him, well, for uh, to let us, to accept us, I guess." As she says, "Okay, okay, Izumi." As Izumi starts getting out of the principal's office, as Toshinori says, "Don't worry, Inko. Even though he's, still hates us, it doesn't mean that he's, not ready to accept us." As she says, "You're right." Hmm. So, back to Izuku's perspective. So, Izuku is basically enraged but also sad at the same time. So, when Izuku gets back to the arena, Izuku saw some, well, weird looking people in front of him. These weird people They look like cloaked figures. Izuku, Elizabeth, and Rose basically leapt up and basically start getting ready to fight. As these cloaked figures says these words, they say Tutulu. They basically disappear in black smoke. Izuku says, "What the heck was that?" As for Rose, she says, "I don't know. I never seen them before." As for Elizabeth, wait, why do I feel shaking? The ground shakes as they hear screaming from outside. They go into the arena as they see, well, they saw, well, wait for a second. Izuku sees Millenniumon. And if you don't know what is Millenniumon, well, it's basically like several Digimons combined together. It's not like a Jogress. It's more like, well, just imagine a Frankenstein's monster, but a Digimon. Not like actually like Frankenstein's monster as a Digimon. It's basically like combining several Partymon. Like for example, it has the head of Kabuterimon. It also has the body of Greymon, the legs of Garurumon. The the it also has like um two extra appendages which are in the shape of, well, wait for a second, in the shape of Devimon. As Izuku saw that creature, Izuku's in shock, and Izuku says, "Right, let's do this." As Rose says, "It's been a long time since I've gone to action." So she summons out her, wait for a second again, summon out her Digi Spirit, as she says, "This." Wait for a second again. Rose says this. "Execute! Spirit evolution!" As she starts transforming into her Digimon form. As when she finally transforms, she says this. "Evolve into," as she shows off a large scythe as she says, "Helamon!" As after she transforms, Izuku starts summoning out his Digimon. Izuku summons out both Nemesis Agumon and Nemesis Gabumon. Izuku says, "Digivolve now!" As they start digivolving, they say, "Diablos Greymon!" And for Nemesis Gabumon, she says, "Angelos Garurumon," as they start attacking the Millenniumon in front of them. As the rest of the students and the crowd of people see that these creatures are basically fighting this, even more terrifying creature. And for, Elizabeth, she summons out Vemon as she summons out the mantle. I meant the Digimantle of Light, as she says, "Digimantle," as she, as in she, I mean the Vemon, her Vemon, starts transforming into Gargoylemon. As she says, try and blast Millenniumon right in the face. As Gargoylemon says, "Sure." It starts spewing out black fire as it causes the face of the Millenniumon to be on fire. For Diablos Greymon, it starts scratching the back of his, leg, causing him to fall down. For Angelus Greymon, she starts, trying to kill it. As in kill it, I mean transform him into data. That means it can be destroyed and go back to the digital world. So the rest of the people are basically screaming, and basically one of them, being a kid, is about to get crushed by Millenniumon's tail. But at the nick of time, Rose, aka Helamon, basically grabs the tail and basically, pushes it back, causing, a bit of damage to the stadium to basically, a bit of damage to the stadium. Wait for a sec. Saw creating some damage in the stadium as Rosemont, I meant Helamon, aka Rose, said, "So, are you okay, kid?" As he says, "Thank you." So he starts moving away as Izuku is basically blasting it with his railgun arm while flying around with his Beelzemon wings. So the rest of the heroes basically arrive as they see Izuku fighting this Millennium Mon with Elizabeth and also Rose fighting with him. So Izuku finishes it with you by using his railgun to basically charge up a shot as it shoots the chest of Millennium Mon. I meant shooting the chest of Millennium Mon, causing him to explode. So after that, well, the storm cleared as everybody looks as they see Izuku, Elizabeth, and Rose. They basically start cheering on for Izuku, Rose, and Elizabeth. Bakugo, basically in the crowd, basically saying, "Ah, dang it!" As Bakugo says to himself in his mind, "I'm so supposed to be the one that's supposed to be praised, not him. Ugh, I want him dead." So yeah, so after Izuku done that, the rest of class, well, the rest of the students basically start praising Izuku, but for Bakugo, he left in a rage. So yeah, so some of the cameramen, mostly some from well-known news stations, start crowding Izuku as they basically say, "What were those creatures that you summoned?" Izuku says, "I would rather if you don't talk to me." As for Rose and Elizabeth, they basically don't talk to the reporters as they basically left. So yeah, so they're basically in the dorms as some of his classmates, mostly talking to Izuku, Elizabeth, and Rose, they basically start saying, "Whoa, that was cool! You actually defeated that whatever it is." And Izuku says, "Yeah, it's nothing. It's pretty much easy to beat that thing." So after it's like midnight, Izuku says, "Alright, I'll be going to sleep." So they basically go back to their rooms as Izuku sees well Reiko. Reiko says, "Oh, hey Izuku." Wait for a second. Izuku sees Reiko and she says, "Oh, hey Izuku." Izuku says, "Reiko, why you look so sad?" And she says, "Well, I was pretty much useless." As Izuku says, "No, you're not useless. You're actually, pretty powerful. In fact, you're pretty much saved everybody." As she says, "Wait, what?" Izuku says, "Yeah, you literally saved every single civilian in in the sports festival. Because of your quick thinking, you made them go outside. While for me, Rose, and Elizabeth, we basically defeated that Millennium Mon." As she says, "Millennium Mon? So you know that creature's name?" As Izuku says, no, 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 I don't know what the heck was that thing's name. I just gave it a nickname, I guess." As she says, "Oh, so you gave that thing a nickname?" As Izuku says, "Yeah." As she says, "Hey Izuku." As Izuku says, "Yeah." She basically says, "So Izuku, we were given these papers." Izuku says, "What?" Izuku was given his, and apparently they're going to be picking a agency for Izuku. He is going to be picking his hero name. Reiko says this. "I already gotten my hero name. My hero name is called, well, wait for a sec. My hero name is Rona." Izuku says, "Not bad of a name." So, Izuku thinks about it. His hero name. Izuku picks this name. My hero name will be this. The Digi Knight. Because, because some of you people didn't want to comment in this post. Only just one of you decided to pick a hero name for Izuku for this what if. Only just this guy. This single guy. So that will be Izuku's hero name, the Digi Knight. So yeah. As Reiko says, I think that's a really cool name, Izuku. Izuku says, yeah, I only just, made that right on the spot. As she says, okay. As Reiko says, hey, Izuku. Izuku says, what? She leans in close to Izuku. As Reiko kisses Izuku right in the lips. As she says, I love you. I've been in love with you ever since I met you. Please, just don't leave me. She cries. Izuku says, I will not. So, she gets a hug from Izuku. Izuku says, I will always love you till the day I die. So, Reiko starts, well, spewing out tears of joy. So, while Izuku was basically kissing Reiko, they hear the door open. Izuku sees, well, several of his classmates basically fell down in front of the door. As Reiko says, what were you doing? As everybody looks, as they say, so the two lovebirds have finally made out. As, Kaminari. As Mina says, huh, I can't believe we have a class couple already. Huh. Bakugo looks at them, filled with rage. As Bakugo comes close to Izuku, as Bakugo punches him right in the face. As Reiko says, what are you doing? As Bakugo says, how the hell do you get everything that you want? I always get nothing, and you're you're a scumbag. Izuku says, what? He basically leaves as everybody let Bakugo in a different light, a dark light. Now Bakugo's now basically hated because of that whole incident. So yeah. So wait for a second. So this is going to be in a different perspective. So this is going to be well they're going to be in the perspective of those cloaked men and women as they basically say, hello, Master Lusamon. As Lusamon says, ah, so you got it? As they say, yes, we got the X antibody already. As he says, good. Now, inject it into my body. So, they inject the X antibody, and if you don't know what is that, well, it's basically, the X antibody is basically, it's basically like, making them extra stronger. It makes other Digimon really strong. Like, for example, Agumon X. Agumon X basically looks pretty much the same as like the regular Agumon, but except with like um blue sharp stripes like a tiger. But when it evolves into well um Greymon X, it looks completely different, at least a little bit. So yeah, that's what a X antibody does. It makes them a little bit different, but also make them really powerful. So yeah, so after Lusamon gets injected with the X antibody, he says, "Yes, now I'm going to rule the digital and human world. I will make them all scream my name." Wait for a second. So after Lusamon said that, Lusamon says this. So, what do you think, Mr. All for One? All for One is basically in chains, basically crucified, as he says, "You, you," as he says, you what? Did you really think that I would ever join a human? I'm only using your resources to create more soldiers. And the more I get, the more powerful I become. So, soon, the revolution shall begin, and the humans, they will feel my wrath, my pride. And for the rest of the Digimon in the digital world and the other servers, they will all call me their god as he starts laughing. So, yeah, that's going to be the end of the episode. So, yeah, so I hope you liked the video. Comment, to see you guys next time. Bye bye.